welcome to the world of cinematics. We're back at ya with a new week of content. First off, we're going to be talking about Moon Knight, this last episode, episode 5, is it?
4.
4.
The Tomb.
The Tomb. And then we will be talking about...
Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. Do that again.
Oh, here we go again?
The,
from the top.
Shame.
Oh no,
Shame.
I think it's working. It's working. Okay, I was worried there.
Okay.
Shame.
Getting conflicting messages. We're moving on.
Anyways, so then we'll be talking about the Secrets of Dumbledore, which 3 of us saw. So we'll be talking about that, and the other 2 will be participating as well with their knowledge of Harry Potter. So first off, the Tomb. What'd you all think of that?
So last week was my least favorite episode so far.
Really?
An episode I still very much liked.
Okay.
But the trial scene was last
week.
Last week.
Okay, gotcha.
I really didn't like it, but everything else I thought was stellar, pun totally intended.
Yeah.
This week was my favorite episode.
All right.
And not just because I was right about there being a Fight Club style twist, but the action was great. I loved the horror sequence that, actually 2 sequences back to back. There were revelations. There was something that, as a history nerd, I thought was an awful desecration, and that's absolutely what they were going for. And yeah, when the Fight Club twist happened, I won't say what it is yet. We can talk about it later, maybe. I thought it was just going to end the episode there. No, we got a solid 10 minutes in that sequence trying to figure out what's going on, and we had some questions answered and a whole lot more left to ask by the end of it. So I really liked it.
Yeah, I guess it kind of did have that Fight Club twist. I didn't even think about that. You did mention that last week, I do remember. What did you think about it, Stefan?
Well, the first half, if you're looking for a weird, trippy show, this is probably the better of the 2 between this and WandaVision, because it just shifts tonally, kind of like WandaVision, but I feel like it does it in a more amusing way. Because 1 minute, we have a mummy that runs around that's trying to kill people. And it's the scariest mummy I've seen since the female mummy from the 1999 film.
Sophia Boutella didn't scare you?
The hippo?
The Tom Cruise mummy.
Oh, no. Who was? Yeah, and then at the end of the episode, it's total tonal shift. It's kind of bizarre, really bizarre, I'd say. So it goes from horror to drama to super bizarre to comedic final. So, and as my initial impression with Moon Knight, generally speaking, was I was like, I don't know that I'm into this, because I'm tired of them cutting away from the action to switch into some other guy. Because I thought it'd be more Daredevil grounded action and focus on that. But now that I appreciate what it's going for a little bit more, I've started to like it a little bit more. Because I'm like, okay, it's not so much grounded action. It's just really bizarre, strange adventures. So I've come to appreciate it, especially at the end. I'm like, okay, yeah, this is just weird. This isn't grounded action. This isn't fisticuffs. This is just a lot of weird stuff. Okay.
And it's not just weird for the sake of weird. They're clearly doing something with this, but yeah, this could not exist in the same, I'd love to see that panel brought to life of Punisher and Moon Knight making fun of each other and pressing each other's worst memories into each other. But I don't know if I could ever see this Moon Knight ever interacting with someone as grounded as Punisher or Daredevil or anyone like that.
Right.
Really anyone in the MCU.
Yeah, he's kind of in his own... Maybe Doctor Strange and Wanda.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. Because they're that weird.
Yeah.
Just like...
Maybe Loki's series, I could see some of that zaniness.
Definitely Spider-Man, too.
Mm.
He could be there.
Yeah, he'd be weird to be put with everyone else. And if he was with everyone else, he'd be definitely the outcast.
Right.
And yeah,
I
still think it'd be fun to watch.
We need Moon Knight in our inevitable Deadpool 3. That could be great.
No, I still want the Deadpool where they go with Hugh Jackman to hell. That'd be awesome. Yeah, the original ideas. What did you think about it, Aaron?
So, just to give a summary, because I was kind of losing faith in the show, if I'm honest. Not because the acting wasn't good, the action was good as well, but I was just like, and I've kind of felt this way with most of the Marvel TV shows, that they could be movies, and I think that helped the pacing a lot better. But I did like this episode. I thought it was really good. I think it does the weird bit, like Stefan was saying, better than WandaVision and Loki, for that matter. And it's more, I don't know, it's kind of fun not knowing the character at all, or characters, I should say, of Moon Knight. I did love the horror element. I did like seeing the craziness towards the end, and I love the cheesy adventure film that's within the film, so I thought that was pretty great. Overall, I think it's doing pretty good as a series. I'm going to hold out and say if it's my favorite as far as Marvel goes. But yeah, I think it's been doing really good. I really like the action. It really felt like a Brendan Fraser type of Mummy feel again, which was kind of lacking, I felt, in the previous episode. I mean, it had the Egyptian element, but it wasn't very exciting or fun, in my opinion.
Okay. Now, can we talk about the spoilers a little bit? Cause,
I mean, we didn't hear your thoughts on it.
well, that's I want to talk about the spoilers.
Okay, we'll leave you for now. All right. Yeah. Do we want to talk spoilers? I don't think I have anything else I want to say.
Yeah, we can talk about it.
Okay, so I watched it, kind of half watching it. I think I was pretty tired that day, but so the twist is he actually in like some weird heaven state the whole time, and he's just imagining this whole thing, or I was kind of confused of what was going on at the end. If he wasn't, I was just confused.
So at first in this twist, when he seemingly dies and then wakes up in a mental institution, I thought they could be doing some sort of thing where it's all in your head, but that doesn't, like the Harry Potter thing. Of course, it's all in your head. That doesn't mean it's not real.
Yeah.
But then when Mark is running around and he literally finds his alternate ego of Steven and rescues him, and they're running around together, I'm like, okay, this segment is all in his head, or he's in some sort of like some hellish level of the Duat, the Egyptian underworld, and he's trying to escape. This isn't. It's not that everything we've been seeing was for nothing.
Okay, gotcha.
Because I don't know how it would tie in with Amit, but I know in Egyptian mythology, Khonshu, he's the god of the moon, just like in this show. And there's a story where Isis, one of the goddesses, not the terrorist group, she was pregnant, and she was told, she was cursed that she could not have her child any day of the year. And at that time, there were 12 months, each of which had 30 days, so there's 360 days in a year. Well, she gambled with Khonshu and said, hey, I'll bet you, I don't remember what she was offering, it was like the throne of Egypt or whatever, but in return, he was gambling a day. And, because he was the god of the moon, he has to do with time, and so she was able to win this gamble, this bet, 5 different times, and she got 5 different days that aren't part of the year, hence why there's 365 days in a year.
Oh.
And so maybe they're doing a little twist on this, where because he was an avatar of Khonshu, he's in this extra time that's outside of time and space. What's going on? I don't know, but I do think that this is a different level of reality, but still real.
Okay. Yeah, so just to give my thoughts then. I did enjoy it. I just, like I said, I got confused at that part. But I think that's the point. I think you're not supposed to understand completely what's going on.
Yeah. Answers will come.
So, and yeah, there's definitely a supernatural part in it, like him just seeing himself. That was fun. And I liked how they hugged each other, like they're like, oh my gosh, we're friends, they're always bickering at each other, but when it comes to it, they I think they're actually kind of friends.
Yeah. Oscar Isaac's chemistry with Oscar Isaac is incredible.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
they kind of achieved that by they had Oscar Isaac's brother come in and do the shots, and so they'd be playing against each other. Then they do their scene in reverse, and so that's why he's able to seem like he has a relationship with this guy, because he does. But yeah, it was still a lot of fun seeing them actually like each other.
Yeah, no, that was good, and like everyone said, it had that mummy vibe to it, and it was just a lot of fun.
Totally a third personality, right? We called it.
Oh yeah,
Because in
I
the
think that's-
sarcophagus that they didn't free,
Oh yeah, there's got to be someone else in there. I wonder
Yeah.
if he's gonna look like him, but have a scar across his face or something.
I think that
Is he
going
edgy?
way out on a limb, I think the third personality is going to be Bushmaster. Bushmaster in the comics is Moon Knight's main nemesis. You know how he was talking about how he failed to save Layla's father, killed by a whole bunch of mercenaries. Well, what happens in the comics is he's one of those mercenaries, and the one that betrays him and kills him is Bushmaster. He leaves him locked in this tomb, and Khonshu says, "Hey, I'm a pretty cool guy. I'm generous. I'll free you if you promise to be my my avatar and do all my bidding." And so, if they're going to do a twist on a twist and say, that he was the person who killed him, it was just another personality, the evil
my.
personality, the villain. Is it probably going to happen? No, but I'm putting it out there. I'm laying my stake way out in a crazy town. I'm saying it's gonna happen.
All right.
Well, since you said that, it actually does make sense because when he looks at his scales, right, and he says he killed him. Well, he might have directly done it. It was just in a different body, So it's quite possible that your theory isn't as far out as you think it is.
Saving him, but by he actually did kill him. Yeah, that'd be interesting. Robert, what did you think on that? I don't think we heard your thoughts yet.
I thought it was good. It reminded me of Indiana Jones and the Mummy, so I had fun with it.
Heck yeah.
I like the ending. The ending was funny, and I can't wait till next week.
Oh yeah, and him sticking his hand in Alexander the Great. I'm sorry, Mr. Great.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Uh-huh.
It was great.
A joke that would only work with someone with dissociative identity disorder that I thought was amazing. Are you in love with my wife? As it's the same person asking.
Oh, I loved it.
And then when he falls down in the tomb, oh my gosh, look at you. As Layla thinks he's looking at her, and she's like feeling all special and realizes, oh, he's looking past me at the statues.
Oh yeah. That was good. That was good.
Stupid lion statue. What the heck?
I mean, it was in great condition, but come on, look at her.
Well, he has been. That's why they made out, right?
Right.
All right. We got any more thoughts on this episode?
2 more left.
Yeah, 2 more left. I'm excited
Really?
to see only 2, and it's
Wow.
only going to be this one season. Limited series, only 6 episodes. They have a story they want to tell, which a lot of the things that I think are weird or like, okay, what's going on? I'm being a bit more lenient because just my general feeling is they do clearly have a plan. Otherwise, they would have had the show be longer. Otherwise, they would have said, oh, well, and then we'll have the character show up or whatever. But Oscar Isaac's been very clear. And same with Ethan Hawke, all these people. No, we had a 1-season contract. We're doing 6 episodes. That's it.
Wow. Okay.
Now, maybe if it's successful and they would want to do more, they can have him be in the next Avengers movie. I don't know. Sure. But for now, this is the story they intend to tell.
That's awesome. That makes me excited because they made Iron Man. They put the whole Nick Fury scene at the end, but they didn't know if it'd be successful.
Right.
They just didn't know. So they made it so it could be its own standalone movie, and they gave it heart and good character development, and it's just a fun movie. Like you can look at a lot of other Marvel movies,
And they're usually a lot of fun,
yes,
but there's also a lot of can you imagine to see how this character will interact with this when they see this and at this
Yeah.
place and find out this? It's just no, this is the story.
yeah. I'm excited to hear that. I didn't know that they were only planning on 1 season, unless they're all pulling our legs. 'Cause
Right?
They know
It could be.
They want us to hear that.
I mean, part of
I'm
it
not
is
the werewolf. It's Photoshop. It's Photoshop.
I mean, part of it is, just for the Emmys, you get in a different category if it's a limited series as opposed to an ongoing series.
Oh, yeah.
And so that can make them more likely to win certain awards.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they could always change their mind afterwards.
Yeah, you definitely. Oh well, it's just successful, like the Joker.
Yeah.
The Joker was
Yeah.
successful. Now they have to make a sequel. Yeah, but regardless, I am enjoying it so far. So, and I'm glad they're stepping out of the box. Anyways, moving on to Secrets of Dumbledore, as Madame Maxine would say. So we Jed, Robert, and I watched it last night. along with my wife, and we had a pretty good time. We had a couple laughs. I would say that overall we're all a little bit conflicted about it. We've all read the books or listened to the books. We all kind of know the lore, more or less. So there are definitely things that are flaws that don't line up with the books. But there are definitely things that are just fun, and Newt Scamander's fun to watch, and Jacob and all that. But what were your guys' thoughts on that?
I mean, right off the bat, I'm going to disagree with you. I really don't like Newt Scamander.
Oh,
I
okay.
like almost all the characters in these movies, but anytime Newt Scamander or Bunty are on screen, I'm just going, please shoot me,
Who
kill
the
me.
heck's Bunty?
His assistant lady from the second one who's really
Oh,
into him.
yeah.
Yeah, she has a lot of screen time in this one. Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. I mean, his brother is fine. He's not awful. He's not particularly
Yeah.
interesting either. But this charms teacher, Lally, in this one, I really like her.
I like her too, yeah.
Jacob, I really like him. He's a
Everyone
lot
likes
of
him.
fun.
Everyone likes
Yeah,
I've
everyone
always
likes
liked
him.
Jacob.
We were talking about this a little. We both loved Johnny Depp as Grindelwald, and
Yeah.
we won't go into all that here, at least right now. But I was sad to see him go. I was happy that if he was going to go, at least he was going to be replaced by a great actor like Mads Mikkelsen.
Yeah.
And I think Mikkelsen did an even better job than Johnny Depp did. But I mean, it's a bit of a apples and oranges thing because their performances are so different. I couldn't see Mads Mikkelsen doing the things that Johnny Depp did in Crimes of
No.
Grindelwald,
Blimey.
and I couldn't see Johnny Depp doing the things that Mads Mikkelsen did in Secrets of Dumbledore.
Yeah, like I don't know if I could see Johnny Depp becoming, getting voted in to be the president of the wizarding world or whatever.
Yeah, very political story, not like modern day politics, but it's about an election and both sides doing their best to make sure certain people win.
But like, I don't know. I'm just thinking about Johnny Depp's like appearance, like who would vote for that guy? But like, you look at some guys like, like just Trump for example,
Sure.
he doesn't look like a typical politician,
He also
So-
doesn't look like he's evil and eats babies, which Johnny
Yeah.
Depp kind of did.
Yeah. Yeah,
Why
but
not?
he had
He
that
got
goofy,
free
the goofy hair.
Like
that
the
people-
super spiky white hair.
Yeah, So I did like that. We were talking about this last night. I did like that Johnny Depp actually looked like he could be a wizard or some, just kind of a freak.
Right.
Whereas Matt Mikkelsen,
Just he's a guy in a suit.
he's a guy in a suit, which is the problem with most wizards in these movies. But I was happy to see at least Johnny Depp, his
A little more
portrayal.
whimsical and fantasy.
Yeah, but that's not even part of his performance. That's
He's,
just
the
what
design.
They made him like that, which I liked. So I was sad to see that leave. Though I don't think what's his name, Mads
Mikkelsen.
I don't think he would agree to do the spiky hair.
Yeah, I don't know. He's done some weird movies in the past, but for the most part, he's just like, I just want to be me, and then I'll do great acting, but don't mess me up. Don't
Alright.
make me look weird.
We got Aaron on the left.
Yeah, so not having seen the film, we did talk about this a few weeks back, though. It's very similar to how Richard Harris and Michael Gambit have very different portrayals of Dumbledore. And funny enough, it's on the third film that they both get replaced. So, it's just whether that's coincidence or not, I don't know. But I do think it's interesting because I prefer, and I think quite a few people might agree with me, is Richard Harris might be the better Dumbledore for them. And something, I'm finding and kind of hearing from what you guys are saying is, yes, they're both good, but for different reasons. And I think that's kind of the same thing with Michael Gambit, who I actually did like in Prisoner of Azkaban. I felt like he was still Dumbledore, but in a different way. But it was then the fourth one that's when everyone was like, no. But it's just interesting to see that. So I am curious if you had to say out of the two films, because you can hardly count the first one with Johnny Depp because he has like one line. But out of the two films, which one do you say you prefer more?
Like
As
just
far
his
as-
just Grindelwald.
Yeah, just Grindelwald there.
I might be biased because of my love of politics, but I might say Mads Mikkelsen because not only do I love him as an actor, but he has scenes where you see the people loving him, the people following him, they're dedicated to him, and it really did feel like so many authoritarian leaders, these charismatic people who generate this cult of personality. It felt real. Didn't feel like, oh yes, finally the people, they love me. But you saw that satisfaction in his eyes of, yes, the world is right again. I will lead us into the future. We can remake the world in our image, even as he's saying, like, oh, I'm going to do all these terrible things. Like, the movie opens up with a scene with him and Dumbledore, which we'll talk about later, but when he's just like, oh, I'm going to burn them all to the ground. You felt the conviction in his eyes and his voice, but it wasn't like, I'm doing this to hurt you. It's, I don't know why you're expecting anything else. I told you this already. Whereas Johnny Depp, as much as I loved his performance, I think he might have gone for the, I will do this to hurt the people you love sort of angle.
Yeah. What did you think about that, Robert?
Books. Like, he gives off that persona that you learned in Deathly Hallows. Because him and Albus, when they were younger, were very much, it's for the good of mankind. It's better that we are superior than the Muggles. And Johnny Depp, he did have that kind of persona of, this is to get back at the Muggles. Versus with Matt Nicholson, it was like, this is because society needs to grow and become better.
Which is ironic, seeing as Johnny Depp was the one saying, we are doing this to protect them, and Mads was the one saying at the end, okay, we're going to kill them all.
Yeah, that was weird. Cause
that threw me off, and I didn't like that.
Yeah, like his whole thing with Queenie was like, I will let you marry a Muggle, and I accept that. And then at the end of this one, he's just like, yeah, I'm going to torture this Muggle in front of everyone live on TV.
Well,
yeah.
Okay, well, we'll talk a little bit about the MacGuffin of the film. There's this magical creature we've never heard of, but hey, that's fine. It actually, for me, it was a good justification to have Newt Scamander in this movie. Maybe not as the main character, but this would make sense to have at least a side character who can do this. This rare magical creature that he is the one who can, take care of and identify the real one. It's this kind of like a baby deer with scales.
Yeah.
It can sense purity and goodness or evil and cynicism and corruption.
Yeah.
It can see somebody's true nature. And so whenever one of these is found, they will, and there's an election going on, they'll bring it to the election, they'll have it walk in front of the candidates, and then it will bow down in front of the one that is going to be the best leader. And so Grindelwald's plan at the very beginning is, I'm going to find the Chillin, that's what it's called. It just made me think of a bunch of Rastafaris chilling out. But I'm going to find the Chillin.
Man, what's up?
He takes the Chillin, he kills the Chillin, and then he essentially reanimates it like a puppet. Makes it like, oh, everyone's so amazed and wowed. But what he doesn't know is that there was a second Chillin that is alive, that they're trying to protect and now smuggle up to the election. And so his plan is to walk up there, I'm absolved of my crimes, there's no evidence, I'm going to stand as a candidate, and then I'm going to puppeteer this thing so it bows in front of me, and everyone sees that I'm good and strong and true. Immediately start monologuing that we'll kill the Muggles, we're going to go commit genocide. That's good and true, the animal says so. So that was a bit goofy.
Yeah.
But it worked for me just enough to like, okay, sure, I'll buy it. What doesn't work for me? So the whole election thing, whoever this bows to is the right leader. No one disputes that. But we're still going to hold a vote afterwards. So it bows to Grindelwald because of the magic, and everyone starts voting. Everyone's voting for Grindelwald, except a few people for Santos and a few people for Leo. It's like, well, what's the point? It's like the Quidditch. Like, what's the point of the game if it's all about the snitch anyways? But that's a game. This is an election. I don't know.
Where's the office that he's running for?
So, it's essentially head of the Wizard UN. So he's not going to be the Minister of Magic for any individual country, but he's going to be, I don't know if their magical UN has more power than it does our normal one.
Which, this for me raised a lot of questions. Like where were they when Voldemort was taking over?
Like, I know it was referenced before in other books, but fleeting references at best. It seemed to just be like a formality, kind of like our own UN.
That's like, why I was.
If that gives you real power, then being prime. Screw that,
Yeah.
Let's be the UN guy, Voldemort. Why'd you take over the prime minister?
If you get the right person into any political realm, you can do much more damage than you think. Even though our UN isn't, it really is just a title. Think about someone who's done all these international crimes like Grindelwald has. Having that title really does absolve him of these. Yeah, exactly. And it gives, and because the chillin, it is funny to say, the chillin, it's almost like children. Anyways, the chillin that bows down to him, it also makes it look like, well, this noble creature says he's noble, so it legitimizes him throughout the wizarding world. So it's not so much about the office as well. It really is about being legitimized.
And all that I loved. As the political nerd in me, but also the what his plan was, it totally worked for me. I could get on board with it. It's just some of the details and execution that I'm like, okay, that was weird. That was dumb.
Yeah, I guess it was kind of like a metaphor for like how like there can be bad leaders that say, "Well, God gave me the authority. I was blessed by the Holy Spirit of this little deer."
Right,
that
or
bowed and served me."
it's okay if I'm a terrible dictator because the people elected me. They chose me. In Iran.
Yeah. So yeah, just to answer your question, I think I might have to sit on this one just because I'm a little bitter about the whole Johnny Depp thing. But I think I enjoyed Johnny Depp's just because he, to me, was a little bit more charismatic in a way. Just at that ending scene where he's talking to everyone and it's like, come, we were not the ones who started the violence here today. Remember that. I was like, you know what? He's right.
Brendan would have gotten up and been like, all right.
Never mind the baby he watched them kill.
Right.
Forget that baby.
But like he played that well because nobody
Yeah.
else knew he did that.
Right.
So it was just like, yeah, the ministry is the bad guys, not us. But I have no problem with Matt Mikkelsen or his acting or his portrayal. It was totally fine. And just kind of like how the new Dumbledore was mostly fine. There was a couple obvious parts. The new Dumbledore didn't do so well. I'm talking about in the Harry Potter movies. In this Dumbledore, now I'm moving Jude Law. I've enjoyed him since the Crimes of Grindelwald. He's pretty. I feel like he's pretty charming. He's got that kind way of speaking, and I think he really taps into the first Dumbledore from the first two Harry Potter movies. Personally, I think he kind of taps into that Dumbledore more than the next one. He's just a lot chiller and calmer. He doesn't yell or anything.
He only does that once in the fourth movie.
Right, I give him a lot of crap just because that scene's
And then,
Don't you all have
and then
studying
in
to
the,
do?
Yeah.
Yeah, he does yell.
yeah, and the fifth one, shouldn't you be all studying?
No, I really liked Jude Law's Dumbledore. He did feel kind of like a blend of Richard Harris and Michael Gambon to me, but more so on the Richard Harris side.
Oh, yeah.
He had an interview that was posted on Twitter. It was like 10 minutes long. It was really substantive. Where he just talked about all his thought processes in his portrayal. He didn't base his portrayal on Richard Harris at all, or Michael Gambon at all. He just went back to the books and said, like, hey, what can I draw from here? How he's loving, he's kind, he has this whimsy about him, this great sense of humor. He's very perceptive of people, and when he wants to, he'll say a lot. When he doesn't want to, he'll say almost nothing, and that'll be just as powerful. But he also has made many mistakes in life, and that weight is always going to be on his shoulders. It's not like we'll talk about it later, but his relationship with Grindelwald, he may realize that it should never have happened at this point. He may realize that he's become evil and all this, but he can't undo that relationship did happen, and he can't undo the feelings that he did have for this person. So even though he now doesn't have those feelings anymore, it would be denying the past and denying reality to say that there wasn't at least at one point this connection. And because of that, he does feel he almost feels sorry for him. He feels this sense of mercy, this holding back that maybe he knows he shouldn't have, but he can't help feeling anyways. And then how, because of his failings there, he feels over-obligated now to help, to be better than everyone else. Not like I have to be better than everyone else, but like I have to do my best to be kind. I have to do my best to make up for my mistakes, the part that I played in this. I thought everything in his performance was wonderful for this time in his life.
Yeah, dark past, dark side.
Yeah.
Dumbledore. And it's important you have those two sides, but at this point in his life, yeah, it's addressing the dark past as well as having that Dumbledore that transitions to the Dumbledore we know in the first few films. Obviously, I didn't see this, so I've got a few questions. Two so far. What's with Jacob using a wand in the trailer? Like, anyone want to explain that?
Okay,
Yes.
so when Grindelwald kills the Chillin, because the Chillin has these powers of extra perception, right? When he kills it, he does this dark magic spell where he's able to gain some of its powers.
Yep.
Where instead of being able to see people's true nature, he can see glimpses into the future. Like he'll be looking in a reflection or into the water and he'll see things. And so they decide the best way to counteract this is to have a million different plans, most of which will go nowhere and do nothing. It's just to throw him off and confuse him. Which, hey, that would probably work. Not the greatest cinematic story. It was just like, okay, this is pointless. I know that's the point, but this is pointless. Why are we watching this? And so he's given a fake wand because he's going to be put at a dinner where Grindelwald is going to be. He's going to get upset. He's going to try and assassinate him, even though he knows the wand isn't real and he's not a wizard. And then people will think, oh, this guy's trying to assassinate him, so that they can stop the real assassination attempt over there. It's convoluted as crap,
Yeah.
and it's kind of dumb, but there is an explanation for it.
I would like to jump in too, because that was the way it led up to it. Is Dumbledore actually gave it to him and said, "I want you and what's the name of the
Lally.
Lally? I want you to go to the tea party where Grindelwald's going to show up." He's like, "I think there's going to be an assassination there," and this kind of leaning back to the Dumbledore thing. This is very characteristic of a Dumbledore in the books because he has a good idea of what's going to happen, but he doesn't tell them.
Very good at just
So-
prodding them in the right direction.
So, but there was actually an assassination attempt on one of the candidates' lives.
That Jacob's partner was the one stopping while he was making the distraction.
So, but in the papers, the assassination was Jacob.
It's like, oh, he tried to kill the Grindelwald. His assassination. He's trying to stop him from being elected.
It's like he's a muggle.
even the newspapers said like Muggle tries to assassinate as he's pointing a wand.
It's really funny. I really liked how they did it personally because I like the idea of, oh, Grindelwald's got this power.
Oh,
We're gonna mess with it.
Right.
okay, so
Yeah, no, there's no actual magic in the wand. He
It's
You
just
know-
a stick.
Like it's rare wood. It's a snake wood, but there's no core in it.
it could have just been,
A gun, a
Yeah.
knife.
It
well,
actually solved the problem.
Jacob. Like the easiest explanation was Jacob's a wizard.
Yeah. Which
He
I'm
was
glad.
not.
I'm glad they didn't do that. Just I hate it when like everyone has magic or everyone's a superhero or everything like that.
Everyone has
Yeah.
a force.
But I still wish that they had done something better than that.
Yeah.
Well, it's like to me they could have just done kind of like a power ring type of deal, Green Lantern, where it can only shoot out a certain amount, but then it has to be like charged or whatever by someone else's wand or something.
That's what I thought they were gonna do.
That which
It's like-
it would have canonically made sense. If you wave it a certain way, that's what activates it.
It's like a joke wand that Fred and George might sell, where it can do
Yeah.
something, but that's the only thing it can do, and you don't need magic to do it. It's just something that this wand does.
Turns into a flower.
And a lot
Yeah.
of these problems would be solved if it wasn't common knowledge that this guy was a Muggle. Then people would take that assassination threat seriously, even though they took it seriously anyways.
Yeah, it was kind of funny like that.
So my other question was, what do you guys think of the Secret of Dumbledore? Since there's apparently only one secret.
Yeah, the title, The Secrets of Dumbledore. There was only one secret, and it wasn't all that earth-shattering.
Yeah, I mean it was better. Part of the reason I didn't want to see this film specifically to pay to see it is because the last film ended. You are the brother of Dumbledore. You
Sound like
are-
Marlon Brando.
Yeah. This is my Johnny
I was gonna
Depp.
say that
Grindelwald.
you're going
You
for
are one
Johnny
of
Depp,
them.
but that's Marlon
Join
Brando.
us. So I was like, yeah, he's his brother as much as Jed or Robert is my blood brother,
Yeah.
So that didn't impress me. I think they have a better. I know the explanation in this film. I think they have a better explanation. But what did you guys think of it overall?
Okay, so
watching it.
it felt like the after Empire Strikes Back, a lot of people were saying, "Oh, people are lying, or Darth Vader is lying. He's not actually Luke's father." Or after Last Jedi came out, Kylo Ren was lying. she's not actually a nobody, she is a somebody. And so with this, everyone was kind of saying, no one was thinking that Grindelwald was lying, that he's Dumbledore's brother. Everyone was just thinking, that's dumb and doesn't make sense. Which it turns out it's not meant to, because it's revealed in this that he's not Dumbledore's brother, he's his nephew. He's the son of Aberforth. Or just like, okay. I mean, this doesn't make things more or less dramatic.
Great,
Yeah.
now push him off the edge.
Yeah, oh, and also he's dying, and he's upset at Dumbledore, but then he gets over it when he realizes he's his nephew, not his brother. Well, I mean, Dumbledore does say, hey, we didn't know about you.
Well, yeah, there's a
At
lot.
least I'm not your brother.
There's a lot of
I've
stuff.
seen how you treat them.
Oh yeah, and Aberforth and Dumbledore talk all the time.
They kind of hate each other, but Aberforth is just. It's not like you would think it would be if you've read the books or
Right.
even watched the movie. But I would say there's a lot of plot lines that just rush through. Yes, I will defend this kind of. Credence does kind of just forgive Dumbledore pretty fast. They have a little fight, and Dumbledore says, "I didn't know about
It's a
you."
cool fight.
It was a cool fight. He says, "I didn't know about you. We didn't know you existed. I'm sorry you had to live like that." And then he forgives him, and it's just like, well, that was easy. But at the same time, you find out earlier in the movie that Credence is talking to his father.
Yeah.
They're like, they would. I don't know how it works.
I don't know if he knows it's his father, but he knows there's some other understanding person on the other side of this
And
message.
I think he knows he's a family member
Probably.
because he says, "I want to come home" at one point.
Right.
And they're talking through like a mirror. It's like as if you breathe on a mirror and write letters on it. It's like that.
It's like Credence is doing it on one end, Aberforth is doing it as his home in the other end.
It's almost like another version of Sirius and James mirror.
Yeah.
That Harry used.
Yeah, almost exactly like that. So to me, that was kind of cool. And so Credence turning to the light side did have a build up with that because he had been talking to somebody already.
That's fair.
But it was kind of just glossed over, and that's my problem with this movie. I love Dumbledore's portrayal of, I have a plan, you have your mission, nobody knows the whole plan except me. That's very Dumbledore.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like the character progression of Queenie or Credence, and that's mostly because we didn't get enough time to see them have their redemption, in my opinion. Neither did Queenie didn't have enough time in the previous movie to fall to the dark side either.
Yeah.
So I felt like neither her fall or her rise were deserved.
Do we want to talk about Tina?
Oh, why? Why? She's not even in it.
So, Newt Scamander's, kind of his on and off girlfriend, his love interest, who we know canonically, they get married at some point in the future. She has maybe 30 seconds in this movie.
Yeah.
She's just told, oh, she's busy doing something else more important than stopping somebody from taking over the world. She's head of the Aurors in America now.
So
This feels like this would be their primary interest in stopping him.
Yeah.
It is kind of America's thing to get involved.
Yeah. And,
in the world.
every
Well, they
once
need
in a while,
the
like...
Japanese school to bond their wives.
What was that, Aaron?
Salem Witch.
Guys, what was that, Aaron?
This is pre-World War II, right? No. Then America isn't involved. You look at the politics, we're actually isolationists.
It is reflective of American politics.
1940.
Wait,
Is it 1940?
Yeah, because then it say it was in the 1940s.
I don't know exactly when. It's been a year since the very first Fantastic Beasts movie.
So
then it is pre-World War II.
Yeah.
They have
whole vision with Grindelwald. So we do know that the politics do reflect, in some regards to Muggle politics generally. I think that's a safe thing.
It's World War One. We were involved there too.
No, because this is.
But we hadn't
this
been
is
drawn
the
into the war.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
If it's
because
1918 or something like that, yeah, we have.
well, see, that's the thing though. Is if this is after World War One, which I think it is.
It's in the Depression because it shows Jacob.
Americans
so it's
wanted
in
to
the
be
Depression.
isolated from the
Totally
rest of the world because they were sick of the First World War. They didn't want to have anything to do. It wasn't until
Not to mention he
the
was
attack
a
of Pearl.
America,
Right.
and infiltrated America, so we need to stop that guy. You know what I mean? It's like saying,
Yeah.
"Oh, the Russians
Right.
we're don't
No,
know
I'm
anything
not
about it.
debating whether or not the government itself. I mean, Franklin D. Roosevelt wanted to be in World War II, but he didn't have the what am I looking for? He didn't have the nation's support to do so. He and other politicians wanted to be involved because they could see the evils that were being spread, and that's kind of how you could argue for this because it does make sense. Why would the nation care? The criminal got away. Well, it wasn't our criminal to begin with, so
Yeah.
Because he infiltrated your top levels of government and almost got 2 people executed over nothing.
Right.
yeah.
Aaron,
So,
Aaron probably is right, and that was, that's a very good justification for why she wasn't in it. But they didn't say that in the movie. They just said, "Oh, she's busy. She's the head of the American Horror Office." It's like, and no one said America has taken a policy of we're not involved in this.
Yeah.
Right.
I
that's just,
forgot what I was gonna say.
It feels like it's, if anything, it feels like it's reflective of things that have happened off screen. That actress has been very critical of J.K. Rowling, and J.K. Rowling happens to be the screenwriter, so it feels almost like, petty middle school or high school politics of like, oh, well, you're not going to be in the movie. Okay, you get 30 seconds. You got to be at the wedding at the end. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about the
That
elephant in...
makes sense, too.
What?
Sense too.
That's a better explanation.
Well, I mean, realistically, though, the U.S. during that time, it wouldn't be involved. I can't speak about wizarding politics.
There isn't anything to be involved in 1932 unless you're in the wizarding world, which they are. So.
Well, I've always not always.
Well, it takes mostly place in Europe, though, since the second one. So, yeah.
I've always thought that that's always kind of been a problem in the books as well. It's like Voldemort's taking over and nobody's really helping, which I think after reading the books multiple times, in the 4th one, Dumbledore's talking about how the 3 schools need to work together to defeat this, the evil of Voldemort and his followers. And I thought about that. I was like, I wonder if she had a plan where in the last book, every nation would come together and help fight Voldemort, but that never happens. Nothing. I mean, you get Madame Maxine helping behind the scenes a little bit, stuff like that, but you never really get to see all the schools or all the nations work together to take on Voldemort, and I wonder if she never did that. But regardless, you don't really see that help from other nations, even in Harry Potter.
Well,
Right.
yeah, because if you think about it, even because Victor Crumb even mentioned how Grindelwald never actually touched like Hogwarts or anywhere in.
Right, they
Britain.
didn't even know about him.
Yeah,
Like,
because
the Deathly Hollow was like the Nazi symbol to him.
Yeah.
yeah,
But the Hogwarts students didn't know that.
yeah, because he never got involved because Dumbledore was there.
Yeah.
So I think that falls underneath the same category of what you guys are talking about, where America's probably like, well, he's out of our hands now, so good luck, guys.
Right.
Go for it, Germany.
Yeah.
You got this.
That makes less sense to me because this guy is essentially Wizard Adolf Hitler back then. It's like, oh, we had Hitler. He escaped. Oh, well, he's your problem now. Europe is like,
That's true.
Okay,
And I
okay.
can see that too because especially because it isn't considered a national security issue at that point because he infiltrated their heist.
and he almost got 2
Order.
people executed
Yeah.
in the first film.
So
over
I
nothing.
see both sides of this. It's just the writing could have been done better.
It is a mess, and I think the best explanation is that it's schoolgirls arguing about who's prettier behind the scenes.
Well,
Not actually.
I do get what you're saying there, Stefan. But once again, it being the American government, I don't think they'd let their people know that they managed to do all that stuff.
And who was the guy from the last film? He had a blue bowler hat. He was like he was hunting the Lestrange.
He is also in this movie. He's one of the people who is
yeah.
in
So-
their group doing various counter plans.
Is he an American? I forget.
He's French.
Okay,
He's
yeah.
French.
Okay, I knew he wasn't English. And that's fine. The idea that it's like, okay, we don't want the people to know. You'd still have people working on it behind the scenes to sort of sweep him
for
under
sure.
the rug or something.
Yeah.
So
That's
I think
and that's my thing is with Tina not being involved because of what's actually happening with J.K. Rowling and all that stuff. That's one thing. But as far as the whole American government get involved, that's where I'm like, I don't think so. Maybe not.
rather than sending an army or whatever. But I still think they would have a response. It just wouldn't be public, if that's what you're meaning.
Right.
We also got to
very covert.
Yeah.
we also
Okay,
got to
gotcha.
remember this is the first wizarding war.
Yeah.
Maybe in modern age, maybe they had him.
I think they said it had been
medieval.
like 400 years.
Yeah, it had been a long
So they're
time.
not
So it's
very
like
good.
nobody really wants to get involved in that. It'll die down. You know, it always dies down, sort of thing. I think
That's
that's
true.
kind of what they were thinking. So yeah, it was weird she wasn't in it. I think they kind of brushed it under the rug without explaining it that well. But you know, you could make up reasons like that, or you know, just assume reasons that make sense with real world politics, and I think that's totally fine. But who were we missing? Yeah, the French dude. I totally forgot he was in the movie. His arc was pretty lackluster as well. You know.
Well, it wasn't very good in the previous one.
All I remember is he
Yeah.
passed out and wasn't a very good wizard. That's all I
Yeah,
remember.
he had the parasite in his eye.
Oh yeah, that's why.
Oh, that was him?
Yeah.
that was the-
That was it.
He's like, wait, he's in this?
Yeah. Thankfully, they don't have Nicolas Flamel shuffling around the streets of Paris this
Oh
time.
my god.
Why not?
That
That
was
was
pretty
the best
good.
part of that film, and you know it.
He's like, oh,
I
Jar
can't say it
Jar
without
Binks.
smiling.
There were a number of very good action scenes in this, because typically I'm not a fan of in Harry Potter when it's I'm going to just point my wand at you and we'll shoot different colored sparks at each other. I'm also not a fan of we're going to turn into ghosts and fly around. They do that once in the opening fight scene in this movie,
Oh,
but
yeah.
it's it's not a bunch of them are doing it in one fight sequence. It's one of them does it once in one fight sequence.
Is that Credence doing it?
It might have been. So
Well, if it's Credence, that's
Yeah.
I can take that. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's like a whatever. episode.
Yeah. Mysterio. So I can buy it.
Dementor.
But all the rest of it to me felt very reminiscent of the Voldemort Dumbledore fight in Order of the Phoenix, where it's like I'm going to do this creative thing. Well, I'm going to do this creative thing, and so it's like who can outthink and out imagine one another, not who can point their wand harder. Although there
Yeah.
was a little bit of that at the end.
Yeah, a little. It was like for a second. I mean, it was a second that was slow mode, so it
Yeah.
was a couple seconds. But
Yeah, okay.
so
Do you want to talk about the elephant in the room?
yes, are we talking about Dumbledore and Grindelwald's relationship?
Oh my gosh, this movie's so gay.
Demonetized.
I'm not saying that in like
Hey, are you saying don't say gay?
I'm not saying this in the like the middle school like oh that's gay, but like in China they took out 6 seconds where Dumbledore refers to them having fallen in love in the past or whatever. But with that taken out, this is still a very very like oh yeah these two were lovers. They don't hide it at all.
Yeah, I guess my problem with it is, it's not like Dumbledore's trying to bring him back, like you know how in the movie it's like, oh Ben, come back, Ben Solo, come back, or whatever, or Anakin, come back to me, or I can only think about Star Wars.
Right.
But
Bucky, come back.
you know, it's not like that or Bucky. Speaking of gay,
Bucky, come back.
you know, but it's also I got the feeling that Dumbledore still had feelings for him, which I'm like, that's as if like the Prime Minister of Britain during World War II, what's his name?
Chamberlain or
Chamberlain.
Churchill.
Churchill.
Okay.
So that's as if Churchill and Hitler were lovers, and then Churchill realized Hitler was a bad dude and broke up with him and started his own good guy thing, but he still had feelings for Hitler, even though he knew he was an awful, horrible person. So I kind of got like,
Yeah.
Dumbledore?
Like,
are you sure?
I can buy it with them young
Screen
because
time.
this is the first time either of them has met a true peer. But then, they had a falling out. Dumbledore realized what he was doing was wrong and Grindelwald is evil. And yet, at this point, years later, he's still like, but he is Mads Mikkelsen.
Yeah, maybe it was Johnny Depp and he gave him those eyes, like that he gives Elizabeth in Pirates movies.
Yeah,
It never would have worked out between you and me.
it's not just like,
You can tell yourself that, Dara.
Yeah.
this isn't just like us being immature, like, gay.
It's
like,
me being immature.
okay, maybe a little, but like in the final fight, spoilers, the blood charm thing that keeps them from fighting, they break it in this movie. They find a way to do that. And Dumbledore and Grindelwald have a duel. It's a short duel. It's not the big climactic one that we hear about all the time, but they have a duel. And it ends with both of them very close, pointing their wands at each other like this. as their other hand is grabbing each other's chest. It's weird.
That was so funny though. Like I literally turned around, looked at Brendan because he was sitting behind me, and reached my hand out and just grabbed him.
It's really weird.
Yeah, she should have done more prequel scenes with them
That's odd because
being like that.
as soon as they announced, oh, Dumbledore's gay and he's got a thing for his worst enemy. First off, that wasn't. I won't go into the details, but
Keep it light, keep it wizard, keep it gay.
so my problem with this portrayal is that from what you guys are saying, is that it's reciprocated from Grindelwald. I always was under the impression that Grindelwald was taking advantage of Dumbledore. Like, he didn't care either way. He was all about the power, just like that great SNL skit.
No.
Power!
Right.
So, and that he's just this terrible person who took advantage of the goodness and of the love of somebody else in order to...
Like Joker to Harley Quinn or something.
Like Joker to Harley Quinn or anything like that, where it's like, you're just going to be my pawn and all these things. And it took the death of his sister in order for the light bulb to turn on. Oh, this guy's a danger to my family, he's a danger to me, he's a danger to society. I need to be a better person. And he's a terrible person who's taken advantage of me. I thought that was the more interesting twist. Like, oh, I don't even care about you, Dumbledore.
No,
but now it's, no, they're totally a thing.
And they still have feelings for each other.
They kind of try and play it both ways in the movie. Like, Grindelwald, I kind of get the sense for him, he had, play it both ways, making a gay joke. I kind of, it felt like how Anakin loved...
Just on one team.
To me, it felt like how Anakin loved Padme.
Yeah.
You could call it love, but this is not a healthy love. This is an not obsessive love, but like...
Possessive.
Yeah, possessive love, thank you. And so, to me, it felt like Grindelwald was like, I want you to be at my side because I love you, and, oh, you won't? Okay, I'll move on.
Yeah.
But also, when you hear the backstory, because he talks about how Ariana died in this movie, he talks about how he took out his wand, and Aberforth took out his wand, and Grindelwald laughed. That feels like a Joker Harley Quinn thing.
And that's not how it happened in the book.
No.
They all
In the
did.
book,
They all
none of
took out
them,
their wand.
they didn't know who got his sister. They didn't know if
That
it was
was
Grindelwald
that was the
or
horror of the
Dumbledores.
situation.
But
That's
here-
when the light bulb goes on.
Yeah, but here they seem, that situation is still there. They don't know who, but they know it wasn't Grindelwald. It was Albus or Aberforth.
Yeah, no, this is definitely not book canon. This is movie canon.
Here's the thing, going off of what Stefan was saying, there's a part in the previous film where he's making his big ol' escape. There's that weird lizard thing, and it starts to snuggle up to him, and he's like, petting it. It has a name apparently. Antonia is like, oh, you're so needy, and then he throws it out. That it just, to me, that's what I thought it was going to be like with with Dumbledore as well. As like what Stefan was saying is, oh yeah, I love you, sure. Oh, you don't serve a purpose anymore. Throw him out. Yeah, that's why I thought his character was meant to be.
He was using Queenie just like he used Dumbledore. It's like,
Mhm.
oh yes, I will help you marry the Muggle. Oh, you're inconveniencing me.
Right.
But yeah, I don't. From the sounds of it, I'm not a huge fan of this because it's like, okay, play it one way or the other.
Yeah.
But I prefer the way that I always thought it was because I'm
Sure.
one of those terrible people that imagines things the way it should be. No.
I'm one of those terrible people who's always right and is always misunderstood.
That's why I hate and love Star Wars. No, I'm always happy to be surprised by something better, and I don't know that this is better.
Certainly different.
Different.
Yeah, no, I definitely. It's weird because J.K. Rowling, like we mentioned, she was scriptwriter.
Yeah, she is the screenwriter. There was another screenwriter, but as I understood it, she wrote the initial draft, and then this guy came in to, under her supervision, alter it.
I don't think I should. Well, I think this is wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's weird that she was involved like that because she just did things that were not in canon. It felt like a fan fiction that was trying to push heavy on the relationship between Dumbledore and Grindelwald.
I mean, that has been her the last decade and a half or so.
Yes, it has. It just felt weird because, like, if you haven't been paying attention to her, and if you just read the books, watched the movies, and you just hear that Dumbledore's gay once, and you're like, oh, I didn't know that. Okay, and then you get to this movie, and it's just like, hold on, who wrote this? And you find out it's her, and you're just like, it doesn't feel like she wrote it, because she's, what's the word, being undermining everything she wrote, like
retconning.
Retconning, that's the word. She retcons that Dumbledore knows about the Room of Requirement. She retcons the three-way fight that got the sister killed. She retcons.
Oh, Minerva's totally in this. Remember in the last one when they said, "Oh, Professor McGonagall," and you're like, maybe she's a distant relative because Minerva totally wasn't old enough to be a teacher yet. I mean, she wasn't even born, probably.
Yeah, in the fifth book,
they confirm. Yeah, it's Minerva McGonagall. She's there.
Yeah, and in the fifth book, she tells Umbridge she's been working at Hogwarts for like 20 years or something.
Yeah,
which there's no way.
She's 70 years old, the same age as Voldemort.
Starting to make Legolas and the Hobbit look understandable and well thought.
Yeah,
that's what really confuses me.
As if there was a plan
for that.
As if Tolkien himself had written it.
It just felt like a studio pushing out these stories they wanted to tell, but it was written by her, so I get so confused by all the retcons in it.
It almost, it feels like the reverse. She's the one saying, I have to tell these stories, and the studio is saying, yeah, but it doesn't make sense, and she's saying, I don't care, you want the money, don't you?
You're mine.
I own you.
What money?
Yeah. Okay, I'll say this, it's just a shot in the dark. David Yates has directed every single Harry Potter movie starting at Fantastic Beasts of Tarzan.
What about Paddington? Did he do Paddington?
No.
No, that's Chris Columbus, wasn't it?
I think he produced it. I don't think he directed it.
That's what it was.
I think it's time for David Yates to move on to a different franchise. Or not even a different franchise. Do something else. Let a different voice come in. Because you still have a lot of the same producers. You definitely still have the same screenwriter. But give someone else a chance to not only give us something different, but we keep getting more of the same from him. I love Harry Potter. And if we're going to try and change like they clearly are trying to do, let it actually change.
Give it back to one of the old directors, like the guy who did the third one.
Alfonso Cuarón?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One. Give
Just
it to
change
him,
the
or
lighting.
give it to Chris Columbus. Give it to one of the previous directors.
At least try a new filter.
Yeah.
Or just new blood in general.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. That's a great question to pose there. Who, if not one of the original, films, who would you want to direct?
I mean, he would never do it because he craves ultimate creative control, but seeing where these are going, assuming 4 and 5 get made, there's going to be 5 movies. 4 is the one, I think, where the war is going to break out, and then the war is going to be finished in 5 with Dumbledore defeating Grindelwald. I think a crazy, dark, evil magic, wars breaking out movie, Robert Eggers would be great for that. I know I pitch him for everything, and I know he'd never say yes to this, but I think he would do it, or he would do a good job with it.
Cool.
Anyone else?
What do you think?
Let's make the Russo brothers do it.
The Russo.
It'd probably be great. Let's be honest.
I don't know. I'm not very good with directors, but I like their work so far. So
It's not a bad suggestion. I like that. Russo brothers.
I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen all their movies. I haven't seen that 12 Bridges or whatever.
Oh, they only produced that one.
Oh, they did.
They've only directed one movie since Endgame, and that was Cherry.
Oh, I don't even.
It's a Tom Holland drug movie.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh.
I think Steven Spielberg, but I'm more along the lines of him directing Harry Potter in the past. I would like to see that.
That would have been great.
But besides that, I don't think this is material that I'd want to watch him direct specifically. I mean, he'd be good in the Harry Potter world if it's about Harry Potter, but not this.
Not these characters.
No, not
this
these
plot.
characters. Yeah, Newt's too weird, whereas the everyman Harry works really well for him.
Newt would be a good side character. I don't see him as a compelling main character because he has no conflict.
Right. If Spielberg were to start off and make it about Jacob, and he had someone younger and more attractive, with the American look or whatever, with the blue eyes and just the Spielberg.
That look of wonder.
Yeah, the Spielberg wonder look, and just look at the sky or whatever.
Yeah.
And like the war horse, he casts the war horse kid to play Jacob or something. But other than that, I can't think of a director that I would want who hasn't been involved in the franchise already.
Robert?
I don't know Darkness either. Gilderoy Lockhart.
Hey,
Pete-
Kenneth Branagh is an Academy Award nominated director.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said
I
him.
think he just won for
But-
Belfast, so
Ooh.
that actually is a great choice.
Woo!
Kenneth
Just random
Branagh?
guess 'cause I
Actually,
really
yeah,
really
I
He
like
directed
that.
Thor. He
Yeah.
can do the movies like this.
I
He
like
would do great
Thor.
with a war
Yeah.
type based film.
Bit of magic just because of that Shakespeare background.
Really good suggestion.
Wow, Robert.
Yeah, you have the best one.
Kenneth Branagh. He
Throw
knows.
out a name.
Sit down. We are not worthy.
Brendan. Brendan.
Harry.
You know, I don't think he'd do it, but for me, I would like to see a Peter Jackson type film.
That
I
could
think
be interesting.
because he's good with war visually, I think it'd be interesting to see how wizards would do, an all-out battlefield type of warfare. I think that'd be really cool to look at.
We
And-
kind of saw that in Deathly Hollows,
Yeah.
but I think
Yeah.
they could improve
Yeah.
on that definitely.
Oh yeah.
Because everything with Voldemort, it was very much a wizarding Cold War. This was the last
Yeah.
hot war that happened in the wizarding world.
Yeah. Yeah. There's skirmishes compared to what happened.
Yeah. Yeah, the Battle of
Hogswart. Hogwarts. Thank you. Can't remember what it was called for a second. Hogwarts. It was pretty good, but I think just with his background, I just want to see what his Battle of Helm's Deep would look like with wands. You know what I'm saying? Or based in World War II. Yeah, I think that could be potentially really cool.
Do I need to describe it for you, or do I need to conjure a box?
Yeah, exactly.
For Flitwick.
Yes, yes. Yeah, we'll stick him in these movies. I'm sure he was old. He was born and active then.
Yeah.
Wingardium Leviosa.
It's so stupid.
They just replaced him with Peter Dinklage.
Yeah.
It's
The
so
first two movies.
it's so stupid. With
Yeah.
that in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first two movies, he definitely looks like he belongs in that era.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's so stupid. I'm so mad.
Yeah, now that we're talking about the movie, I'm like, wow, I really did not like this movie.
Because there's so much potential in it, and there's so much that I did really like in it.
I love the effects, the fights, and all that stuff. The acting was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Story?
Okay. I complain about the acting from Newt Scamander and Bunty. Everyone else did a magnificent job.
I like Newt Scamander's little crab dance.
I was stone faced the whole time. Just please kill me now.
I was laughing.
I thought it was
laughing
funny.
so hard.
Yeah.
Everyone else was terrible and ridiculous and fun, and I'm
Hey,
just
man.
like, I hate fun. This is terrible.
As a guy who can't move his hips like that, I'm impressed.
Yeah, just seeing him move his hips, I was like, Newt can move.
I was
No wonder
like,
that
But like
girl likes
his
him.
brother
Newt
only.
scum, man.
His
Don't
brother
shit
only
on
got
that.
captured so that they could have an escape sequence, so that they could distract Grindelwald, so that they could get back together again where everyone else was.
Yes, it's a wonderful plot.
Yeah.
You know, I would write it down if I remembered all of it. You know,
That makes me think of
The Wedding. Oh, I guess, has anyone seen Sonic 2?
no.
No.
Okay, I just watched it yesterday. I'd say for the most part, pretty fun film. But there is one plot point where I was like, why is this in here?
Everything in Hawaii should have been taken out.
Yeah. Well, them going to it, that made sense. But yes, I would agree.
Otherwise,
Really fun film. But that's what it sounds like you're saying with the crab walk.
I liked the crab walk. I thought it was funny.
I thought it was funny too, but
Newt-
I have a low IQ humor, so it worked for me.
Now Newt commanded those crabs.
Oh, the death glare.
It was actually really funny because I remember sitting there watching that. She just jet slowly sinking in the sea.
Like that.
Oh man,
Just like that.
I did enjoy it. I mean, it was kind of weird. I don't know why it was needed. As a matter of fact, I was actually hoping he was going to go to Nuremberg
That would have been
to
interesting.
pick up his
Nuremberg or Azkaban or, I mean, it doesn't have to be something we've seen before, but I mean that was the worst prison in the world. It's okay. We'll have killer scorpions that kill our prisoners once the little torch bulb bug goes out.
Yeah,
So why not just kill them? Why have the prison?
it's a torturing. I don't know.
But you're not torturing them to get information out of them. You're just killing
There's
them
like a
anyways.
secret black
being a
mage
jerk.
Are
underneath
you
there, like,
telling
yeah.
me, as a James
Bond
Bond
fan, you did not appreciate that shutting the door and letting the the shark or whatever eat them. You didn't. You as a James Bond fan. did not like.
I'm definitely a appreciator of over the top evil villain plans and layers and stuff like that. But when it has a point, like I hate this person and so I'm going to let them die. Sure, I'll walk out of the room because I don't need to watch it, but just knowing is enough for me. I can buy that. But it's the government is running this prison. The government is running this secret prison that is there to execute people for no. Why not just kill them?
What are we doing with all those extra tax galleons?
Yeah,
What was that?
Which government?
Is it?
It's the German one.
Yeah.
Oh, it all makes sense now.
I expected something a lot darker.
Do you think they're Jewish?
Yeah, it's just a cave with a giant scorpion in it in this pit, and then lots of little baby scorpions.
Well, they're like crab things.
Yeah,
I've seen
they.
the trailers.
Oh,
Jed,
he
Jed
did
could do it. Jed
Jed
can do the shuffle.
Jed can move.
Jed's commanding those crabs.
I'm gonna kill you.
Got the Scorpio move.
Okay.
It's the new crab wave of these days.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of jump to the review out of how do we do this? We're not even gonna do a full review because I don't think any of us cared that much about this movie. But I'll give it a 6.5 out of 10. All right, what do you think, Jed? Oh, and while you're thinking about that, I'll tell you why. I think that this would work a lot better as a book, and I think it'd work a lot better as a story because in the book it'd flesh out all these individual stories better. I mean, for example, Queenie from the very beginning, she's already rebelling against Grindelwald. You don't even see her go full evil and then start to make her way back down to the good path. She's already making her way down to the good path, which I thought was like, okay, we didn't even see that development. She's already rebelling.
Why have her leave at the end of the last one?
Yeah, it was just kind of like that was a total waste of opportunity. So that's just an example of I think they could do more in a book, and if she followed her own lore in the book, I think it'd be a good book. But she didn't do that. I like Dumbledore in it. I did like Newt. I think he was not in this as much. I did like Jacob. I didn't like anyone else really. I did like Charms teacher. Lally. I'm sure there's someone else I liked, but overall, the story was complex, kind of convoluted, made sense, but it was still convoluted. No way around it. So yeah, 6.5 out of 10.
I think I'll give it a 5 out of 10. For me, it's a pretty perfect meh. But it's not because there's nothing to talk about with it. There's so much that I really loved, and there's so much that I could not stand. And so I'm going to give it a 5. I may watch it in the future again, but it won't be because, like, oh, I want to watch this. It'll be someone else says, hey, do you want to watch this? I'm like, sure.
Yeah, I think I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10, too. It would get extra points because I do like the performance for Dumbledore. I like the way he did take the character of Dumbledore out of the books.
Yeah.
I've listened to those books I don't know how many times because that's all I had when I was working Parks and Rec for 3 years. And I really did not like how they just kind of took a lot of the lore and just said, don't worry about it. No memorio.
Yeah.
I can't remember the actual.
I mean, you know the part where
Obliviate, that's one.
Grindelwald takes the memories out of the French dude at the very beginning. It's like, you're going to forget your sister entirely. And then he throws all his memories of his sister on the ground.
But then he just...
That's what J.K. Rowling's trying to do to us. Just forget everything you know from the books that I wrote, it took all this time.
Which, honestly...
Look, I just spent a lot of money on the audiobooks now.
Like, honestly, I'll be that guy. I really don't care for lore. Like, it can be interesting, but to me, it doesn't make a movie good or bad. But when something is actively going out of its way to say established lore is untrue, and not like, oh, people misunderstood what was going on, what really happened was this. It's just, oh no, that didn't happen.
Yeah.
And it's not for a good reason. It's not to make it more interesting.
No.
That does bug me.
I'm kind of the same way because, like, if you look at the 6th movie versus the 6th book, I actually really love the 6th movie.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of fun.
It didn't follow the book that
very
much
different
at all.
tone.
Right.
Yeah.
And
but I did love it. I loved it.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I do like the 6th movie as well as, even some of the other movies that don't follow the books. And there's some things in the movies I like more that they changed in the books. But for this, I mean, it's just, like Jed said, she's going out of her way, or whoever's writing these decisions, they're going out of their way to make it different. And it feels like kind of a slap in your face, like, oh, we're going to change it because...
You thought you were a Harry Potter fan.
You were telling all your friends what was going on, and they go watch the movie and they say, well, that didn't happen. You're a liar, and it's like, oh, well, sorry about that. She changed it on me. You know?
Well,
Yeah.
for me, from what I've heard, 5 out of 5 puking pastels. I haven't had this much fun since food poisoning.
What? Jet's crab dancing like up and up more?
You know, if you did it one more time.
Nope.
Come on, we need those stars, man.
So we got a review from a non-reviewer. Aaron, what do you think from just listening to us?
So from just what I've heard,
I do have one question. Did you guys watch the previous film before
Yes.
watching this? Oh, okay.
Not before,
So,
right
not
before watching
recently.
it, but I did watch it.
Well, that's what I meant is recently before it. Okay. Because I think that's from what I'm hearing, it doesn't sound that great, just like the previous one wasn't that great either. But I enjoyed the previous one. I know that's the lesser opinion, so I'm still going to go watch it for myself. But you have lowered the bar for me, so.
I know for me, it's definitely one of those movies where it's like, I would recommend just waiting till it comes out.
Right.
yeah, and that's probably what I'll do.
I would recommend this to Harry Potter fans because even while I didn't love it,
Yeah,
I do think it is my favorite of the 3 Fantastic Beasts movies.
you're just in love with Mads.
Oh yes, absolutely. I mean,
You're Dumbledore for Mads.
I mean, as much as I love him in Hannibal, no. I mean, I do have to say, props to him. Like, anytime you need somebody to be a pinch hitter for an impossible role, he's the guy. Like,
Yeah.
if you want somebody to be one of the greatest villains ever, Hannibal Lecter, after Anthony Hopkins won an Oscar for it, do him. He'll be just as iconic.
Yeah.
You want a new James Bond villain when we're rebooting Bond, something that will bring Bond to the modern era, use him. If you want somebody to have the unenviable task of stepping into this mess after Johnny Depp left it, he was the right choice for the job.
Yeah, he's Mr. Clean here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
he's good.
Yeah,
If he cooked, it would have been an A+ for Jim.
I absolutely.
Meat,
No,
specifically meat.
yes. I know general audiences have typically been liking this film. They haven't been loving it as much as other ones, but they have been liking it. So maybe some of our viewers would still like it despite what I've thought. And even, maybe they have the same thoughts as me, but they liked the positive stuff even more, and the negative stuff didn't bother them as much. So I still would recommend it.
Yeah, I guess the Harry Potter snob in me really doesn't like it, but just I had a good time watching it. If I'm honest, I had a good time. I had a good time laughing. Kind of, the over the top relationship between Grindelwald and Dumbledore. That made me laugh because it was just like I said earlier, Hitler and Churchill. It's just like, why would they still be friends at all? They should hate each other. I don't know. To me, that's how maybe it should have been.
As the guy who likes to make fun of stuff,
Having
that's
not-
definitely.
Having not seen the film,
It's almost like it's a Sherlock Moriarty relationship, which might be what they're going for in that, but with the romantic twist or whatever.
From the show, yeah.
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 Not
Yeah.
the books
from
or the movie.
show.
yeah, I would say something like that. Maybe
Yeah.
that's what they're kind of leaning towards. I
Yeah.
haven't seen it.
But then it's like
That's
that
what it
fan
feels
fiction. It's like that, Aaron. Except it's like that fan fiction in season 3, where the girl's like, "This is how Sherlock survived. He talked to Moriarty, and then they started to make out." It's like that. It's like they have that relationship, but then they're still like
But you're supposed to
touching
take
each
it
other.
seriously.
That's why I was laughing. They're grabbing each other on the chest. It's like you
So-
should hate each
So Dumbledore
respect,
and,
but don't do that.
and Grindelwald are standing on a roof.
And there's like a dummy of Credence, and they push him off. And is that what you're
Okay,
saying?
I will say, since we barely touched on Ezra Miller, I think he's a terrific actor, terrible person in real life, but
Yeah.
I thought he sleptwalked through this performance, in this movie in particular.
Yeah.
He barely did any. I mean, he was in the movie a fair amount, but I have this facial expression the whole time, and I talk like this.
The whole time. Yeah.
Christians.
Yeah, not a great movie. If you're a Harry Potter fan, you'll probably still enjoy it if you're like any of us. We had a good laugh. I did. You had a good laugh, Jed?
Yeah.
And Robert?
Oh, I
Yeah, I
laughed
know
at
Robert
the very
did.
beginning.
I know Robert did. So yeah, you'll probably have a good laugh, Aaron and Stefan. Unless it gets to you, which it got to Jed with the crabs.
Yeah.
It's commanding.
There were lots of other whimsical moments too, like when
Yeah.
Bunty is trying to get duplicates of the briefcase. I'm just going, oh gosh, this just keeps going on.
Yeah, that was weird. Why didn't she just like magic new ones? I don't know. Like, did she go to real like a Muggle?
Maybe she's a dropout
Suitcase?
too.
She's a squib.
I mean, she could be a squib. I don't
she
know.
could be a
We ever
squib.
seen her do magic?
I guess
I
you
don't know.
know
I don't
about being
remember.
a dropout, don't you?
I think she.
Oh, holy shit!
I don't know. I have my thought on maybe why. I'm not entirely sure. I was thinking more because they were charmed.
Yeah, maybe it can be
So,
detected
in-
if they're a duplicate like that.
Yeah, well, and also due to like some law that they explain in the magical law.
Sure.
Oh, yeah, you can't create something from nothing.
Or you
Yes,
can't
yeah.
duplicate something that's been charmed. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I'm like, because they would have to duplicate the charm itself.
Right.
Yeah,
so-
Well,
I like how.
we know that's full of crap because
Yeah.
otherwise the goblet wouldn't be able to multiply
Well,
itself.
that's true.
Oh
Yeah.
the Gemini one.
Well,
That's
there's
right.
actually a reference to that. Dumbledore fills up one of the suitcases with like breads and pastries and whatever, and
Or books or Quidditch stuff.
and a guy touches it and then it starts to duplicate, and I was like, oh, that's cool reference. But that was it had cool moments like that, cool spells, cool charms, cool fight scenes. So I think you would enjoy it, but like just thinking about it and just looking back on it
Just
compared to
manage
everything-
your expectations
Yeah.
going in.
yeah,
Visually, it's incredible. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it visually.
yeah.
Get tripped out.
As a moviegoer, just pretending I don't care about Harry Potter at all, I'd probably give it like a 7 out of 10. So,
So go up
0.5
0.5.
higher.
I would probably give it a 7, and I was at a 5. So that
Yeah.
makes it feel better.
Yeah. Because I did have a good time, but if I was just an average moviegoer, I think the story's just too complex
Mm-hmm.
and like weird. Anyways, we got any more thoughts on this bad boy?
It is a
No.
bad boy.
You know, I loved it.
Dumbledore, the bad boy. Him and Grindelwald.
All right. I think that's it, right?
Yeah, that's it for me.
Yeah, I'm done.
Come on, you want to set us off with a crab dance?
Mm.
They've been waiting on Brendan.
All
All right.
right.
Real quick before we head out, remember everybody, live on Saturdays at 7 o'clock, sometimes. And then also you can follow us on Twitter at Of Cinematics. And Aaron, where can we find your stuff?
Yes, we can.
My
find
comics at Webtoons. They're currently Pretzels as well as Toonla, but also be on the lookout for Ink Spill, the prequel to Toonla.
Perfect. And then I think that's about it. We may have some short fun films coming your way. Keep an eye out for those. And if you would like to help support us so we can get those out to you sooner, go over to anchor.fm and subscribe for $4.99 a month. And we will see you guys next week.